Well, hello all. Hope everyone's okay, staying safe, etc. Right, so after my little first look at the Southeastern yesterday, I had a really, I've managed to learn a few things about driving the 395, so I thought I would do a bit of a quick sort of tutorial. And I'm in the cab of the, I drove this yesterday and terminated it at Gravesend, not Gravesend, Faversham. So where does this train leave? I think this train leaves actually, so I'm saying all this and I think this train leaves. But I just wanted to give you a quick look round the train itself. So this has already been set up, but while I've got this train stood here, I thought I'd have a quick mess around with it. So the cab's already set up, as you can see. So I don't get out I don't get out. So that was this end. So I don't know if I could change ends, because normally these are circular trains, aren't they? So I think I can't change ends, can I? I think if I changed ends, no, the circular train. Tell you what I'll do. I'll come out of this. I will. I'll restart the train, and then I can quickly show you what's going on. I'm also going to take a swig of coffee, so bear with me a second. I've just woke up a bit on night, so I've not had the best sleep, so. Yeah, so I drove that train earlier on, and I found, yesterday, sorry, and I did find a few little niggles and things about driving the train, but I think I've got used to it now. Now I drive the train, I don't use immersion mode, or I try as best as possible to manually move the controls. So obviously you need to work out how you want to drive. But all I'll do is, with this, is I'm going to show you how to set up the cab on the 395 with the safety systems on, and also show you a couple of practical issues that you could encounter as well as I encountered, so I can let you understand how to get out of them, really. It sounds like I'm not the only one that had that. So here we are. I'm in the cab. Right. So the general thing is with me is I have safety systems on. So first thing to do with this train, if you want your safety systems, so your AWS, your TPWS, your Vigilance DSD, you need to unisolate them. So if you get to the back wall here behind the driver, you've got all your safety systems. So all you've literally got to do is turn them to normal. So that's your AWS, your DSD, and your Vigilance. Oh, Vigilance is done. Yeah. So they're all done. So in you go. You've got your safety system. So when you're setting up, it's very similar to setting quite a few normal modern trains on TSW. So if you just put your mask in, and then put your reverse it forward, you'll get introduced with all these lights and things. You've literally just got to press the AWS. That's it. You literally just press the AWS button to stop that beeping noise. And then just bring. Now we got to open the doors while I'm in the station. So let's just press door release. No, I haven't. Or was it open door? Open door. I think that door release is a button if you're doing STO or something. 3-step check. I don't really know what that means yet. But these two door release buttons, I'm sure there's something they must have to do with those, but we don't need to press it. We just press the open doors. But it's arm there. Look. Yeah, but they don't do anything. So yeah, so that's your door release buttons. Right, lights and things are all over here. So all your marker lights are here, look. So we'll put it on today. So that's that done. So that's my lights on. You can't do anything with this TMS, even though it says you can press journey. It doesn't seem to do anything. Let me just have a look in the internal cameras. Control panel. Oh, interesting. It says control panel, but then it's also got isolation switches. What's all that? Oh, okay. When do I use them? Interesting. Driver's screen. Oh, here we go. So what can we do with this then? Doesn't seem to do anything. Maybe it's a feature that will come in the future, perhaps. But at the moment, it doesn't look like we can use it. So okay, cool. Right. Well, I've got the peg to go. So let's log the doors. So again, like many other units, it's a blue button to lock the doors. Now we're on the CTRL, so when you are going, so you got these lights. So with what's been, so this train's dual voltage. It uses overhead wires and it uses third rail. So what you need to be ensuring when you're on third rail on the CTRL is you've got the CTRL button on, and you've got a live light or a line light, live vol. Now this MCB VCB button shouldn't be illuminated. So this tells me if I try and take power, I won't move. Right, so let's just try and move. And I'm not moving. So, in this case, push the pan up, shoes down button. And as you can see, your VCB is closed. So, now you should be able to take power. And there we go, look, we're taking power. So it's really that simple in that respect. So yeah, now the clever thing about this train, I'll quickly show you while I'm cruising at it, is the speed here is kilometres an hour. Okay? Because it bases it on your current infrastructure, which is the CTRL. It runs in kilometres. Okay? This is your heads-up. This heads-up display gives you your recommended speeds whilst you're on the in-cab signalling system. Oh, wrong way. Speed 0. So just slow down a bit. Apologies for that. So, but if you look, see the little arrow there. Look, that's telling you when you're reducing speed, when you're maintaining speed, and when you're increasing speed, which is useful because especially when you're out in deepest, darkest Kent, there's some really good hills. There's some really good hills, and you don't know why you're not going fast enough. So the speed's 40 anyway coming out of here, 40 kilometres. Now it's gone up to, I think it's 50, isn't it? So let's just power up a bit to 50. Now on the CTRL you don't have AWS, it's an in-cab signalling system which will start to appear in this screen thing. Oh, I've put, tell us a good climb up there. We end up in a tunnel when we first leave London as well for quite a while, so that takes a bit of getting used to. Because we're on traditional signalling at the moment, the CTRL signalling doesn't start until here we go. So now we're in CTRL, which basically says you can do 80 kilometres. So that means you can do 80 kilometres an hour. So let's get started, speed up. Oh, your next speed is 80 kilometres an hour. Even though at the moment, at least, we're still speeding. There we go. 200 be our next set. So we can actually open up. So yeah, it's actually relatively simple. So there's your kilometres, telling you how that we're increasing speed, and that's telling you how much distance you've got to that you've got basically that you've got a clear run, and it's 200. It's quite clever actually. It slows you down as well when you're approaching the stations that you've got to stop at. So it should. That's vigilance. Now you can't actually manually cancel the vigilance, which is really annoying, so I've had to press circle because I like manually cancelling the vigilance. Right, I could now do 225 kilometres. 225. I think that's the maximum. That's obviously the maximum speed that this train will go. Obviously, unless you've changed it, your HUD is in the miles per hour, so it's good because you can see how fast you can go. Right, Nate's telling me I've got to do 200. And this is because I'll be slowing down to stop at Stratford. With me being on manual controls as well, it's very easy to not really get the brakes where you want them. So sometimes you do find yourself shook because it's not on steps either. That's the other thing that's really weird. It'd be all right when you're using the obviously using the when you're using the joysticks triggers. So obviously rapidly slowing down because I've got to stop at Stratford. It feels so slow, even though the thing that was like, I look at the comments, I still feel like I'm going fast. Obviously this is such a responsive train. So one of the things that I found quite easy to do, especially while I'm playing in manual mode, is to accidentally put it in emergency, and I'll show you now what happens when you do. I got stuck into emergency, and I didn't know how to do it for about. It took me about 5 minutes to work out what it was, but actually it was really simple. So I'll show you what what you can do. So put a bit of brake on. So I still feel I can go really fast, but what I'm going to do now, get this train stopped, is I'm going to shove it into emergency. Okay, so I've shoved it into emergency, and then you're met by that annoying noise. And all you need to do is pull it out, shove it back in, and then it goes off, and then you get your brake release again. All you've got to do, you just got to slam it back into emergency. You get your brake release. Look, that's it. It's like an acknowledgement. And that's the simplest thing. You literally just slam it back into you pull it back out and slam it back in to emergency, and then you're done. And so that's because it's been catching people out, and actually that's all you need to do. So that's that. So the next thing I'm going to show you, we'll go down to Ebbsfleet. The next thing I'll show you is making sure that you change over to DC and making sure that you get your pan down and everything like that, because believe it or not, there is a bit of a fine art to it. Right, let's get my doors shut. There we go. Now I'm going to turn off the HUD now because you don't need it really. Right, so off we go. Brake releases off, get some power. These are really nippy units, so I'm just going to open her up. Stratford International. If anyone ever been to Stratford International, it is such a strange station. I've been many times. They're always very quiet, very eerie. Very eerie. It's good though if you like watching fast trains. For you can take pictures of the Eurostars as they go flying through the middle road. So this your system here will step up the speeds that you can go. As you saw, it stepped down as you were approaching the stations. It steps up as you go along as well. Now it's 140. So you go under a tunnel again for a couple of mile. It's 15 mile to Ebbsfleet. I think you're in the tunnel again for about 2 or 3 mile. But you're going that fast. And you don't need AWS until you're on domestic, so you only use AWS on the domestic lines anyway. Look at pure acceleration. Look, I mean, what's that? What are we doing now? Nope, wrong button. 108 mile an hour. Don't feel that we're going that fast, do we? Even though, well, we are obviously. I love. Love to have a run on the. So that was the vigilance. I'll just press circle on my pad or acknowledge or whatever it is on your device that you use. I hope everyone's enjoying so far. It's nice. I've not had a chance to drive any the 375 services yet. I've just because to be honest, let's be fair, we've had the 377 for all that time, but it's just learning the route. But I'm going to use the 375 as a bit of a route learner. But I've got to admit, I played this yesterday. You might have seen the video. I fluffed it up a few times, but I have to admit, by the time I got to Faversham, I'd sussed it. But there's some really slow lines. It's not the fastest. I think the fastest you go is 80. That's about it on the domestic third rail. I mean, yeah. No, late, mine. Because obviously I was faffing about, weren't I, at London. Minute late. I think the trick is that bit coming out of London is a bit of a fine art, and then it's just getting used to that, and I'm quite determined to get used to that. Look at that now, rapidly approaching 140 mile an hour. So yeah, this arrow basically tells you that you're increasing speed. I don't know what it means when you... I don't know what pressing it is. Don't know. Looks like we're coming out of the tunnel. So I have a little bit of... so we're decreasing speed now. It's because we're climbing a hill. Oh, wrong button. So I mean, we're on full whack and we're slowing down. I'm speeding up again now. So that really cool. That hill really catches. There's another one. That hill really catches out the this set even at full power. Let's have a quick look at outside. Yeah, don't hang about, does it? I've been on quite a few of these. I quite like them, to be honest. Those domestic lines on the left-hand side are the I think they're the sort of lines over to Southend and Shoeburyness, if I'm not mistaken. It's a smooth route as well. What we're running at? 34. Oh. 34, 35 frames per second. Oh, keep getting that little buffer bleep. It's on a specifically poor route. Speeding. Oops. Oops. The good thing is, because you've got this counter that tells you when you're balancing the speed out and when you're increasing, you can tell when you need to or don't need to. Then you got this hill look and it's like slows down with full power. It's such a temperamental route. See, I'm on full power. I'm going, really, it's like I wish I just left it and might have balanced the speed out myself. Shame me that Eurostars don't run on it. That'd be really good, wouldn't it? That'd be really good. But it's, you know, it's one of them, isn't it? You couldn't even drop them to Ebbsfleet, for the Eurostars don't go on to Ebbsfleet higher level. Still 4 miles, but it's 4 miles to everything, but it's absolutely shrunk the journey, hasn't it? You know, I mean, barely 4 or 5 minutes ago it was 15 mile. So you don't get a long time on the high speed. Dagenham Viaduct, Dagenham flyover. You don't get a long time on the telling me to, I think when it flashes it's telling me I've got to decrease speed, not to 225. There will be this reduction in speed. I think it goes to 200. Yeah, thought so. And it's going to keep slowing down, so I'm just going to keep my brake on there. Yeah, this is a bit temperamental. You don't get a click until you go right to max. I think then it goes to 180. So we're approaching Ebbsfleet basically now. That's what all the flashing's all about. That's what all this is all about. $160. So the best thing to do here is just maintain a braking, because as you can see, it'll just start stepping down and down and down. So at Ebbsfleet, I'll show you how to change traction, because obviously it's dual voltage, so you'll need to change traction. I could probably still go 130. I think it's when it's flashing that you need to worry about don't know what it means when it moves over. I've really got to look into this a bit more. But all I know is I'm approaching Ebbsfleet, so I know I've got to start slowing down. I think it's because I'm coming off CTRL. It's come off. So now I'm on domestic signalling. And there's Ebbsfleet station there, look. And I'm in kilometres. Oh, AWS. Really still trying to get used to the kilometres. You feel like you're coming in so fast. Well, I do anyway, with these kilometres. I know it's not a lot slower, but it just feels so like I'm going so fast. So there's your chime. But this brake is really responsive. There we go. Lovely little stop there. Probably could have driven forward a little bit further. But there you go, I'm here. So there we are at Ebbsfleet International. Right, so now we're off the high speed. Let's open the doors. So while we're here, we obviously go on to third rail. So what we need to do now is we need to swap over from CTRL to DC. So how you do that is you lift up the flap. You should press the button. Hang on a minute. And that's it, it's done. So the light is now illuminated on the CTRL. But as you can see, look, you've got an MCB and no line light. So what you then need to do is you need to, right, done it. You press the pan up, shoes down button again. And then you get your line light back. So if you just look, yeah, so your pan's gone down. You can't really see if your shoes are down or not, it doesn't, because I think they stay down anyway. But your pan's down. Basically, the important thing is that you've got that light there. That tells you that you've got your line light. That means you've got power. And the CTRL light needs to be de-illuminated. I'll turn that the light so you can see it better. And you need to have that light glowing to tell you that you've got line light. But if you have, yeah, so to get this generally service power must be changed. Obviously, I have changed it. So let's get moving. So like I say, if any Jake, just press pan up, shoes down when you're in DC mode. Right. Brakes are off. Power is on, so I'm moving. So I've got power. There's obviously now, and now this is actually miles an hour. It actually converts itself to miles an hour. So that's good. So that changes to miles. So it goes from kilometres to miles once you've changed over to DC, which is clever. So that's basically it. Unfortunately, it doesn't tell you the miles, the speed restrictions, but hey ho. So the next station's Gravesend, which is only 1.8 mile away. So I'll get to Gravesend and then so 60 mile an hour or 100 kilometres an hour, depending on what mood you're in. So yeah. There we go. So there you go. So I've had a good. That's basically it. That's basically how to drive the 395. It's not too hard. Like I said, there's a couple of sort of idiosyncrasies you need to get used to, but actually it ain't that bad. Good climb there. So it's the things you need to remember then is your line light and swapping over from CTRL to DC when you're on the third rail, and vice versa. Obviously, when you do it the other way. But ultimately, it's that. Remember, when you do, if you do accidentally hit it, go into emergency brake, it's pulling it out of into off and pushing it straight back to that's just having to 30 coming up. It's pushing it straight back into emergency and then out again, just to acknowledge that you've obviously pulled out of emergency. Yeah, Gravesend's a bit further away yet, but there's a 30 coming up anyway, so there's no point getting too cocky. But the braking system is actually really good on this. It's just about getting used to it. There's 10 steps on the braking. There's 10 actual steps on the braking. And because there's no clicks, it's hard to tell. Without the hood on, it's hard to tell which one you're on. And obviously, until you get to the last click, that's when you know you're on max. So we're just approaching Gravesend. There's a 30 PSR there, which I'm just trying to get myself slowed down to. There we go, almost. There you go. So just slightly speeding past it, but that's. I mean, it's all about learning the route, though, isn't it? It's all about learning the route and knowing the speeds and where they are. So this is Gravesend, just rolling in now. I'll park up here and then I will call it a day on the video, and I'm hoping that you've found this useful. If you got any questions or anything, just let me know. Just drop a comment or send me a message or whatever on the Facebook group, and I'll hopefully get it mastered. The more I play it, the more I'll learn, and the more I'll upload. Oh, slight overshoot there, but I've stopped. So there we go. It's just a knack of getting used to it. So there again, doors are open. It also tells you doors are open on here. Look, it's a bit like the 377. The TMS all the doors go red. So there you go. I'm hoping that you found this useful. If you joined halfway through, once I've cleared this video, you should be able to watch it back, or I think you can rewind it back anyway on YouTube. Please, if you need anything else, anything showing on any train I've got all the trains, UK trains and UK add-ons. If you need anything, just let me know. I'll try and put up as many videos as I can about stuff. So I hope this has been helpful, and I will see you soon. Take care.